Imagine London, October 17, 1814. The air is thick with the scent of roasted malt and hops, a familiar comfort to the city's inhabitants. The streets are muddy, crowded, and utterly oblivious to the catastrophe about to unfold. In just a few moments, an entire neighborhood will be engulfed, not by the waters of the Thames, but by an astonishing, dark, and frothy tide of beer. This story begins at the M.O. & Company Brewery on Tottenham Court Road. Inside, a colossal wooden fermentation vat stood over 22 feet high, containing more than 600,000 liters of porter. To put that into perspective, that's enough to fill nearly 1 million pint glasses. This was the heart of London's beer production, a dark, rich brew that fueled the city. But this gargantuan vat wasn't just a container. It was a ticking time bomb held together by massive iron hoops. And on that fateful afternoon, one of those hoops failed. The sound was like a cannon shot. The immense pressure from the fermenting beer caused the iron band to snap. The first vat exploded, unleashing a tidal wave of warm, dark liquid that smashed through the brewery's brick walls. The force of this initial blast created a catastrophic domino effect. It slammed into the adjacent vats, bursting them open one by one. In a matter of seconds, over 320,000 gallons of beer surged out of the brewery and into the surrounding streets. This wasn't a gentle stream. It was a 15-foot-high torrent of porter. It ripped through the impoverished slum of St. Giles, a labyrinth of narrow streets and crowded tenements. The wave of beer, mixed with mud and debris, was powerful enough to demolish houses. Basements filled in minutes, trapping residents inside. In a cruel twist of irony, one pub, the Tavistock Arms, was completely destroyed when its walls collapsed under the pressure of the very substance it served. The entire neighborhood was plunged into chaos, the air heavy with the smell of hops and tragedy. Amidst the destruction, 8 people tragically lost their lives. It's a common misconception that they drowned in the beer itself. The reality is more heartbreaking. The victims, mostly women and children living in the cramped basement apartments, were crushed by falling debris, swept away by the force of the flood, or succumbed to injuries sustained in the ensuing chaos. It was a devastating loss of life in one of London's poorest communities, a grim reminder of the dangers lurking within the city's industrial heart. But here's where the story takes a bizarre turn. Londoners, with their characteristic resilience and a touch of opportunism, reacted in a way that seems almost comical in hindsight. As the initial shock subsided, crowds began to gather. Seeing the streets literally flowing with free beer, people emerged with whatever containers they could find, pans, buckets, and even their bare hands scooping up the porter. The scene shifted from one of pure disaster to a strange, almost festive atmosphere for some, as they drank from the murky, debris-filled puddles. It was a surreal moment where tragedy and dark comedy collided. Naturally, the aftermath led to a legal inquiry. M.O. & Company Brewery was taken to court to answer for the destruction and loss of life. But the verdict was astounding. The court ruled the entire event an act of God. No one from the brewery was held accountable. No fines were issued, and no punishments were handed down. In fact, the company was even granted a tax waiver to compensate for the massive volume of beer that had been lost. It was a verdict that highlighted the stark inequalities of the time, where a business's loss of product was seemingly valued more than the lives lost in the slum next door. Today, if you walk down Tottenham Court Road, you'll find a bustling, modern street filled with shops, theaters, and cafes. There's no plaque, no monument, no physical trace left of the brewery or the devastating flood. The story lies buried beneath layers of pavement and history, a forgotten chapter in London's incredible past. It's a tale of industrial ambition, unforeseen disaster, and the strange, resilient spirit of a city that has seen it all. So the next time you raise a pint of dark, rich porter, take a moment to remember the Great London Beer Flood of 1814. Remember a time when the city didn't just drink its beer, It was nearly consumed by it. If you found this slice of strange history as fascinating as I did, please hit that like button and let me know what you think by dropping a beer emoji in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more surprising stories from the past. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.